right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Talkin' Trash. I am your host, Tim Snyder. This is episode number 28, and it's Father's Day. Father's Day is a tough holiday for me personally. A lot of the damage I've done in my past has affected my kids the most and my parents the most. So, as I sit here sober a year and a half, my kids are good to me. They're happy. They're proud of me. I FaceTime with them. Um, my parents and my siblings is a different situation. But I've caused all these rifts. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect to be alive this long. I really I played with fire for a long time, assuming that this was going to be it. Never did I think I could win my kids' favor back. Never did I think my parents would let me live in their house again. Um, yeah, I'm not where I want to be in life for sure. I'll admit that from the rip. I just I don't know. I use this podcast to get my thoughts and my feelings out there, and to keep me sober and clean. And I'm trying hard. I've moved to Georgia to change my people, places, and things. But I want to kind of start over and introduce myself to our newer listeners, tell you what the show's all about, so we can kind of establish a baseline of what's going to happen in the next episodes. What are we looking at? I don't know, honestly, but I will introduce myself. My name is Tim Snyder. I'm a recovering addict. I used heroin and cocaine for a long time. You name it, it went in my body. Xanax, Percocet, Tramadol, whatever it was. I was going to swallow it or snort it or smoke it. And I did that for a few years after I split up with my wife, circa 2018, 17, I don't know. But yeah, I've gotten progressively worse. Alcohol, I threw that in the mix. Yeah, that doesn't make the fire go up anymore. Uh, you know, I'm not a good drinker. I make bad decisions and huge mistakes. I put my life at risk, other people's lives at risk. So I almost want to hold myself accountable for that, because that's something I did that was extremely selfish. They say self will run riot. Riot. I can't speak. It's hard. It's hard owning the mistakes that you've made, and paying for them in whatever degree that looks like. To me, it looks like, I'm kind of a failure. I hurt myself in a car accident. I can't even sit at a desk for too long before my neck exploding. I broke my neck in that accident. So I've made some really poor decisions, snap decisions that had lasting effects on my life and other people's lives. I've ruined relationships between my siblings and my parents. For a while there, my oldest daughter wouldn't speak to me. If she did, it was F you. My ex-wife, I've had a couple of girlfriends, which were a disaster in the last few years. Everything I touch turns to shite. You know what I mean? And I really have tried. I gotta look. I'm sober for and if you consider it even sober, I'm on Suboxone. So if you're I'm 451 days of clean time. So it's 451 days of being on Suboxone. Um, and that saved my life, because I was hell bent on doing as much as I could and not waking up. And Suboxone, if you know anything about it, it takes getting high from opiates off the table. So knowing that, I focused on myself and my mental health and my recovery, and my recovery is my recovery. How I do it is nobody's business. Um, so my recovery looks like that, and I'll be honest with you right from the get go. So I'm Tim Snyder. I'm your host. I'm on Suboxone. I have addressed my mental health over the past year and a half or so. I don't feel great, but I don't feel bad anymore. I now, when I think about getting high or drinking, I think about the path of destruction that comes with it, not the fleeting moment of getting high, which is a big thing for me. Could I have gotten there without Suboxone? Probably not. The fentanyl was getting heavier and heavier, especially up in New Jersey, and Suboxone, I think, saved my life because there's a few times other people I knew fell out from a bad bag or from a bad batch. I've had some rough time. I mean, I caused some serious damage. The reason my parents are in Georgia is because I don't know, because of me, ultimately, and everybody's life is good. Everything's fine. But I hold myself um, hostage because I feel responsible for screwing everybody's life up. I know that's over the top, and I know that's a little catastrophic because people's lives are okay today. Nothing's burnt to the ground. I talk to my kids. I'm alive. I'm awake. I'm clean. I'm relatively happy. I love my mom and dad. I love my cat. I love coming on the podcast and telling people that there's a way out. It doesn't have to be my way. It can be whatever way you want. We're going to talk about that in this episode. AA, smart recovery, CA, going to church, reading. I mean, there's a million things you can do to overcome your addiction. I believe medical intervention is very important. I believe in dual diagnosis. Um, why do you drink? What's the reason you get high? Is it because you're depressed, or are you depressed because you're getting high? It's a very fine line, and I've had to navigate it, and I can see where people get lost in the shuffle. Before you know it, you're in an inpatient rehab. They have you on drugs. Everything's crazy. So for me, I'm not saying that I've figured it all out, but I've certainly figured something out for me. I was a mess for a while, and I was going to take my own life. And by the grace of God, I was saved, and I'm a father today, and a son, and a friend. I've been to rehab like 5, 6 times in the past 4 years. Uh, every time I'm trying to figure out something different, and I'm not wasting my time in there. I'm trying everything. I've tried AA. I've tried what is that one? Smart recovery. I've tried spirituality coaching, therapy, uh, sober living. I've tried it all, and I got clean. It was March 21st, 2022, 23, 3/21/23. I was in a hotel in Seaside, New Jersey. My landlord lady called the cops on me and was getting a restraining order against me over something I didn't do. But it doesn't matter when you're in that mess; it all looks the same. So she got a restraining order against me, and I thought it was over. I thought this was it. I know where drugs are all over the place around here. I'll go to Seaside, New Jersey. So I went into the island and I got a hotel. Knew it wasn't sustainable, and found drugs. Not the drugs I wanted. That's key here. Had I found heroin, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. What I found was crystal meth, a drug I've never done in my life until that day, or week from the 21st. And this drug is horrifying. Even from the minute you start doing it, you're paranoid. You can't make good decisions. You can't make any decisions. You don't know what you're doing. The only thing you know is doing more. And I've seen pictures and heard of statistics where it's so bad for your brain and your brain chemistry and serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, all that stuff is affected by using crystal meth. And I used it for like 10 days straight, intravenously. The only time I ever slept was when I drank a pint of vodka and I woke up out of my mind. Um, so the story goes like this. I'm done. I'm not using crystal meth anymore. I'm going to kill myself. There's a couple of different ways I was thinking of doing it. Um, so I walk out onto the hotel balcony and I'm like, well, if I jump, I'm probably not going to die, knowing my luck. So I thought, well, maybe death by cop. Maybe if I brandish a weapon and whatever, they'll shoot me. Like, that's really where my head was at. I was going to, I don't know what I was going to do. Those two things were the only things I thought were on the table. So It was a rainy Saturday morning on the 21st of March, 2023, and I walk out of my hotel room completely malnourished, dehydrated, in just haven't slept, and I could barely walk. And I'm walking my way down to the bottom of the stairs, and I'm so banged up. I have my backpack on. I lost my phone, so let me rewind a little bit. The night before, I was supposed to go to rehab. I called them; they were going to come pick me up. Um, at 3 o'clock, I went and drank a pint of vodka. I woke up at 9 o'clock at night, and with no cell phone. I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do now. I have no cell phone. I'm strung out on crystal meth. I was in a really bad place. So I spent from 9 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock a.m. in a manic state, looking for my cell phone, looking in the same places over and over again, moving my bag over here, then moving my bag over there, and then my bag's right here. And I couldn't do anything. The TV, there's somebody on the TV. Oh, there's people coming. That was crazy to me. I've at a different time, I shot up. I started using needles. I shot up heroin and cocaine, and the cocaine had bath salts in it, and it made you hallucinate and be paranoid. And that's exactly what this crystal meth did to me. So I'm walking out of that hotel room, no cell phone, completely banged up. I walked down the stair. I could barely get down the stairs. Dropped the key in the thing, and I'm like, "This is it. I'm gonna go find a way to kill myself. I'm gonna do it. This is it." And I walk around the corner of the hotel, and up pulls a bus. Like I'm like, "All right, I guess I'll get on this bus." So the bus came at the exact moment I came around the corner. Doors open, nobody there but me. And there wasn't even people at the bus stop. It's not like the driver had to stop and open the doors. He could just drive by and see that there's nobody there. I don't know why. He pulled up to the bus stop, and opened the doors. He couldn't see me. It didn't look like anybody was there. So I came around the corner and I got on the bus. And it was a rainy, miserable Saturday morning in March. And I'm hunched over on the bus and I got my backpack on me and I can't move really. I'm like stuck in this position. I said to the bus driver, the only word I could get out was hospital. And he said, "Yeah, we're going to the hospital. Sit down, psycho." I'm like, "Okay." We got to the hospital. I fell getting out of the bus. I couldn't even move my legs. I was so dehydrated. I was drinking tap water from the hotel in Seaside, which is essentially ocean water with feces in it, which is good for you. So I get that. That happens. I get to the hospital. I fall down. I walk in, 9 o'clock in the morning, miserable. And I tell them I'm considering suicide. And I was so, I didn't have any control of what was going on. So I figured I'd just dip out. And I didn't even know how to get to the hospital. I don't know what to do. I don't have a cell phone. And there was a bus that showed up, took me to the hospital. And I walked in that ER that morning, and I said, "I'm going to kill myself for sure." And they were kind to me. Community Medical Center in Toms River, New Jersey. They were very kind to me. I appreciated their kindness. They kept an eye on me for a minute, hawk eyes, and then they took me in the back, and I had to have my clothes removed by a nurse because I couldn't move my muscles. And they pulled my clothes off, and my toenails weren't clipped, and I'm dirty, and I've been in the same clothes for days, and they're being sweet still. They're taking off my clothes. They're helping me into the scrubs or whatever those are. Those fabric. Not everybody's been to a psych ward, so I won't describe it. But they put me in the psych ward. Um, Put me in a room by myself. Um, they I was one of those people. They tried to take blood out of me. Number one, and it's like a murder scene. There's blood everywhere. They can't find a vein. Obviously, I have no dehydration. They're poking me left and right. They cannot find blood. Um, and I'm literally that crazy person you think of, sitting on the edge of the bed, rocking back and forth, talking to themselves. That's what I'd become. And so they realized pretty quickly that I was on death's door, that I was physically sick and not mentally sick, or maybe just a lot of both. So they took me to the ER portion and realized that I was not doing well. So They put me in the ICU. They knocked me out for a few days. Now, I mentioned I was going to go to rehab on that Friday, and I had already called them and set it up, and it didn't happen. Somehow, one of the patient advocates at the hospital found out about me and already knew I was trying to get in and that I missed my ride. So I woke up in a psych ward for a minute, like a psych hospital. I wasn't in the ward anymore. That was like a fleeting memory. Um, and from there, they took me to rehab. I mean, I didn't do anything. All I did was walk into that hospital that morning, and it ended with me in rehab. I'm just looking around. I'm like, how the hell? What happened? Was I in Seaside? Was the hospital real? Like, that was bad. That was really bad. And that was the only time I was considering taking my own life and having actionable thoughts. So, another milestone or point, tangent, whatever you call it, another spot in my life prior to that was a bad car accident. I was visiting with my kids and my ex-wife that day, and I grabbed her empty pack of cigarettes. So I go home, I pop a few out of it for bed. I take out a cigarette to go, or take out the pack to go smoke a cigarette, and there's no cigarettes there. I took her empty pack. So, naturally, I have to go get in the car at 12 o'clock at night and go find a pack of cigarettes at 7-Eleven. Uh, I got my cigarettes. That happened, but I never made it home. I, uh, I flipped that truck 20 times, maybe, at least. All I remember is being midair, upside down, glass, so much glass everywhere. And I remember thinking to myself, this is bad. This is effed. I'm in bad shape here. And sure enough, I woke up in the hospital a week later with a neck brace on and a scar on my neck. They had already done surgery. I had broken my neck. I broke my scapula. I broke my collarbone. I broke 4 ribs on this side, 5 ribs on this, 3 ribs, not five, 3 ribs on this side. Um, I lost a couple of teeth on that side. Um, I'm not proud of any of it. It sucks. It's just a sequence of events that has made me the Tim Snyder today, the host Talkin Trash podcast, and is waiting on his disability because he's banged up. I can't lift anything. I worked for UPS for a long time. Everything I did between the age of 21 and 36 was lifting heavy shit. That's all I did. Lifting boxes, and I'm not a big dude. Like, it hurt, and So where was I going with that? Anyway, I my mouse stopped working. Okay. So yeah, I got into a really bad car wreck. Got discharged from the hospital. Everything's broken on me. I I have to rehab at my mom and dad's house. I sweat everything out in the hospital. I was like a sweaty, smelly mess. I got home relatively clean, and it's amazing they didn't find drug paraphernalia all over the road or alcohol in my system. They hit me with a DUI, and I never got charged with it. Um, Probably should have, but yeah, I didn't drink a pint of vodka, so no DUI for me. So that's not the first time I got out of a DUI I should have gotten. So I'm recovering at my mom and dad's house. They gave me like 10 perk 20s or 20 perk 10s, one of the two. That's under prescribing, but in this day and age, they're not going to play around with it. Purdue Pharma, all that crazy stuff, Oxycontin. So I recovered at my mom and dad's house. Very little medication, in pain, cannot sleep. That was the biggest thing. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I just, I couldn't get myself to fall asleep. I was in so much pain. And looking back, the pain had subsided, other than the chronic neck pain and the pain down my arms and all that. And I have, I have like, I can't, my legs are really. I had a stroke in the hospital after the accident, so my legs, like, I can barely put pants on. I shake. It sucks. It's not fun. I don't know. So like, I'm trying to recover at my mom and dad's house, and I go to Walgreens one day and I see somebody I know that was an addict, or apparently still was. And he, long story short, he gave me a couple bags of heroin. Forget it. Now I'm looking for that. Now I'm sniffing heroin all over the place. Now, and then I'm graduating to, driving back to Philadelphia. I ran around Kensington a lot before that accident. Um, Kensington. Are you kidding? Like, I should be dead. That I should have been shot 10 times. I got the shit beat out of me a couple times, got my money stolen. So that's Kensington. So, like, if we fast forward to recovering after the accident, as soon as I could, I started driving back to Philadelphia, shooting heroin, shooting cocaine. That all fell apart. Um, and long story short, I'm alive today, and I tried my darndest to make sure that didn't happen. But it is, and I accept that, and there's got to be a purpose for that. I'm not perfect by any means. I mean, I am a mess still inside. I've dealt with a lot of the mental health side of things. I put a lot of work in that in that aspect. Um, I take an antidepressant, mood stabilizer. Um, I don't know, a few different things, and they all kind of work for me. But I had to advocate for myself, and we say that all the time on this program. You got to advocate for yourself in these situations. So that being said, I ended up in Seaside in March 21st, 2023. Um, and that's where I was going to die. And I knew it. And I couldn't even call my kids or send a text. And then I thought, well, maybe it's for the best. Maybe nobody needs to hear from me. And I have a lot of people, even now, 451 days later, clean and sober. According to my aspect, what I look at is clean and sober. Uh, a lot of people still won't talk to me. They still hate me, and I don't know if you've ever been hated by somebody. And those of you out there that have, it's horrible. You think that the reason they hate you is your identity. If a lot of times when you're guilty for one thing, you're guilty for everything. And I've experienced that a couple of times over. I I make mistakes, and people will project on addicts. I won't lie. They will project their anger and their fears out on him because he's an easy target. She's an easy target. It's hard to navigate that because a lot of people, we said before, a lot of people come home from rehab and it's the same old thing. People want answers. Where'd my money go? What happened to this? Blah, blah, blah. And they get stressed out and go back to using. And I'm sorry, that sounds, you know, childish or immature, but we're lucky to be alive, if we are alive. I know so many people that have been taken by this disease, and it pisses me off. A few of them, if I could have just gotten them to, I don't know, get on Suboxone, they'd be here today. I'm not saying Suboxone's the answer. I'm not saying antidepressants are the answer. I'm not saying Adderall's the answer. I'm not saying ketamine is the answer. I'm just saying there's no right answer. You can go to AA. You can be the biggest AA supporter guy in the world, and that could work for some people. Other people, they get turned off by certain things. NA's a little more lenient, a little more open, I guess, but like at the same time, it's the same prospect. And if you're not ready to deal with people and interact with people after treatment, some of these things can throw you out. I've experienced it. This message is to the young addict, to the drug addict. We talk a lot about alcohol in here. It's time we talk about drugs. It's a scary place to be. It is very scary. It's not. It's in no way fun. Once you start using it, it is now gripped you. It is not fun. It's a full-time job, and it sucks. And you just do so much damage to yourself. And let's talk about withdrawal real quick. Alcohol, I know you get the shakes and go to rehab, go to an ER, they'll give you Librium, they'll give you Ativan, and wean you down, it's okay. Opiate withdrawal. I can tell you about this firsthand. I've experienced it 1,000 times. And I can't describe how horrific it is when days run into each other. When you have to go to a job at 9 o'clock in the morning and you haven't slept all night, you barely walk, and your muscles hurt, you're sweating. It's brutal. Uh, I'm not. I did it myself a few times, but like that keeps people from getting clean. The fear of withdrawal, the fear of a medical issue happening. I don't know. It's scary to an addict, especially opiate users. They're afraid. They're afraid of getting sober. They're afraid of what that's going to feel like. And a lot of people these days know that the Suboxone or the Subutex they give you in detox isn't working like it used to. The fentanyl, the carfentanil, the xylazine, all this stuff is making it's not working anymore. The Suboxone, like, you're still going to go into withdrawal. There is no clean way to do it. If you're an alcoholic, you can go to rehab. They make it comfortable for you, and you don't really feel anything, and you're back to baseline. The addict who's expecting to go to rehab and get some kind of relief is not. It, they got to go through it, and that keeps people from trying to. So there's so many factors that keep people from wanting to change that the outside world, especially people in recovery, need to be flexible as to what works and what doesn't anymore. So yeah, opiate withdrawal will keep people from coming into rehab, and I get it, people. I get it. It's brutal. People that never went through it, they don't understand it. The Suboxone will ignite precipitated withdrawals, which is horrible. One minute you're just meh, and the next minute you're sweating, aching, crying for it's awful. And people go to rehab and they wait 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. All right, I'm in withdrawal. Now I can take the Suboxone. They take it, and it just makes things worse because it's not working the way it used to. All right. Well, so anyway, I wanted to get to some clean time for my friends out there. Um, and of course, happy Father's Day to everybody. I hate Father's Day because it shines a light on my mistakes. It exposes me. I like the rest of the days where I'm free to just exist. On Father's Day, I'm that's something I'm failing at and not doing well at. It's something that I've caused my dad to have pain about. His kids won't speak to him, and that's his Father's Day. So his Father's Day, my Father's Day, it all sucked. And we had some miscommunication on here the other day. I have to apologize to Tommy Wilkes. I put this up on the screen without his knowledge the other night at 4 o'clock in the morning when I was editing the program, and in my mind, it was a joke. I thought it matched the climate of the program. We were laughing, and I was a little off put by some things that were said, ways I was spoken to, but it was over, and it was over at the end of the episode, but it just got drug out, and you know, so I apologize. I didn't think that was going to have such an effect on everybody, but I guess it did. So I don't know where we're going moving forward. I just know what I can do today. So let's get to some clean time, shall we? Daniel G at 38 days. Atta boy, Daniel, proud of you. Cassidy B got 39 days. Atta girl. Tony J, 45 days. I can't read it. I can't see it. Maria Gladden, 50 days. Welcome to the program, Maria. Jared Black, 54 days. Atta boy, Jared. Ian Bumbliss, 63 days. Frank Kenny, 65 days. James Cobb, 75 days. That boy, Jimmy C. Mandy Jean Wagner, 75 days as well. How'd it girl? Newbie, Jamie Michelle. 90 days. Thanks for sharing that with us on your 90th day. Michael V, 141 days. Ricky McVicker, 136. Attaboy, Ricky McVicker. Tommy Welks, 249 days. Something wrong with your graphics. Sorry, Tommy. Will Douglas, 254 days. Me. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Amelia Quarto, 575 days. Stella Montez, 815. Brian Cobb, also at 815. Casey Baxter, 2 years. April Pritchard, also at 2 years. Jeffrey S., 2.5 years. Newbie, Lisa Milton Welke, 6 years. She also wrote us an email we'll get to. Charlotte Bellafieur, 8 years. Oh, wow, that's a long time. The most important person in any meeting is the newcomer. White key tag. Eric Adapt, 3 days. Thank you for reaching out to the program, Eric. And David D, we're still keeping track here for you. 8 days. Attaboy. Congratulations to everybody on our Clean Time for reaching out, for wanting to be recognized. It keeps them accountable. If you want to be on Clean Time, go to tim@trashpodcast.com. Email Tim or the form on the website. Go to our social media, Spotify, Apple Music, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. 988. If there's a suicide issue going on in your family, a drug issue going on in your family, 988. And as always, get yourself some Narcan. It could save a life. So, anyway, let's see. We're not really sure what's going on moving forward. I'm just kind of doing my thing. I feel really bad for miscommunications and things getting blown out of proportion. I have an anger problem. Always have. Gotten better over the years, but I'm a hockey player. If I feel like I'm being disrespected, I'm going to take it to the extreme, go over the edge. It's a character flaw of mine. I know it's one of my biggest character flaws is not being able to be called out on things or told I'm wrong or constructive criticism. I think I got the right answer all the time, and I know I'm not doing this podcast because I have all the answers. I'm doing this podcast because I don't. I'm just sharing my journey with you. I'm not telling you what to do. I will never tell you how to recover. I will tell you how I recover and share my experiences with you. But I'm never going to tell you you got to do it this way. You got to do it that way. I'm a proponent of treatment, especially early on. If you can get in one, it separates you from the environment and the substance. But that's about it. Go to AA. Go to Celebrate Recovery. Go to, I don't know, whatever, church, therapy. This is my opinion. This is what I do. I take a bunch of little pieces. People say you can't do that, but I cherry pick. I piecemeal it. I go to AA. I went to one tonight. I go to Celebrate Recovery. Went to one not long ago. I do online meetings. I am involved with the community of rehabs and people in recovery. I also do this podcast, which it keeps me accountable. You're going to see my face twice a week, and it's never going to be high. So I call it my tool belt, right? I have everything I need in my tool belt to defend me from the things that are going to come down the pike. And I have to admit, I'm going to make mistakes in there. And I'm going to get caught up in things. And for me, I'm like, I'm like a child. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like as soon as things start going sideways, I just start smashing stuff and, burning it to the ground. And I've done that in dramatic fashion over the years with drugs and alcohol. but it happens sober. I mean, I'm not sober. Let's be honest. I'm a crazy person just in sobriety. I'm not a bad person. I'm just, I don't know. I've gotten better. I take meds, all that stuff, but like, life's hard, and the life I've created for myself that I'm living now is not great. I have a lot of support from people. You know, Brian, Lindsay, Ox. I appreciate you guys. I like what the podcast has done, so I can't just leave it to sit even for one episode. So here I am. But I'm not perfect, and it's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. Um, I guess I just made one, but like, it was unintentional. Miscommunications happen. You know, it's in life. It's just in life. It gets hard, and that's why people use. That's why I used, because life was too difficult. Let me slip away from it for a minute. Then I come back down, and things are 10 times worse. So I've gotten to a point where I don't want to destroy anything anymore, but it doesn't change the fact that life is going to catch up to you. Good days, bad days. I've had my share. You just got to take it with a grain of salt and try to live one day at a time and try to smile a little bit. Um, Find little hobbies, do little things to keep yourself happy. Just medication, just mat, just church. All it needs to be combined with effort, with help. So it's important to realize you can't take it. There's no happy pill, and I always thought there was. I was just looking for it. There is none. If you want to take medication, take it, but you need to follow up with a counselor. You need to go to meetings, interact with people. Um, so I want to talk about different different types of meetings. First off, I want to say Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Um, yep, it's. Wait, did I already do this? I don't remember. That's how screwed up I am. Here's a little clip of my father, who's such a good guy. I can't express it enough. So people call him Tim Senior, but really I'm a junior. So it's just I gotta acknowledge my dad here. Good man, worked hard his whole life, loved his family, loved his wife. He loves God. He believes in the Lord. He's a great grandfather. He's a great father. He's getting up there in age, but he was there for my daughters being born, and for me raising a family. We have a good bond, me and my dad, and I'm grateful for this time that I have with him. It's not ideal for me to be living with my parents, trying to put my life back together at 41 years old. But the silver lining there is I get to spend time with him that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So when the day comes, and I'll have nothing but fond memories of my dad. So I'm really grateful for him. And there's some pictures of me. I'm also a father. Not the best one, but I wasn't the worst one over the years either. I I was an okay dad for a while. I was checked in and out sometimes, but like I raised a family. I tried hard. I worked hard. Just spinning my wheels really, but like I screwed some things up. But I love my kids. Always have. You have no idea how hard it is being away from them, especially on Father's Day. Um, so yeah, so that's a tough one. Want to recognize some of our supporters. RJ Painting and Restoration. Ryan Jones is the owner. I know him personally. He helped out here at my parents' house. Um, did a great job on everything that he was doing. He's a hard worker, and he's a Christian, former addict in recovery. Um, so yeah, we like to see that. He's a devout Christian. Did a lot of time in jail. Um, he's a good man, and it's nice to see good Christian men out there working hard for their families, and not gangbanging. This guy was he's seen it all. Um, so that's that. Real quick, Metro Fade, my friends over in Cornelia, Georgia. Um, they do a great job on my fade, and I'm friends with Andrew, the owner, and Andrew's son, Andrew. Um, so I just they're my friends. I'm not getting any money. I don't get any money from this show. If anything, I put out money for it. But I try hard to make sure who needs the effort or the recognition gets it. And lastly, New Hope Foundation in Marlboro, New Jersey. I've been in contact with a few of my contacts up in that New Hope Discovery House area. And what we have going on now is they are playing our show as a IOP, or no, as a group. Like if somebody doesn't show up, or if AA doesn't show up that night, or the somebody doesn't have any is run out of topics, so they don't feel like doing a group. Our show is usually an hour long, and they're putting it up, they're watching it. 25 people, 40 people, whatever it is, that's their group. Lights are off. Our broadcast is going, and I love that. That's who I want to reach. I want to reach you guys that are sitting right now in rehab, trying to figure things out, lost, sick, sad, miserable, whatever it is. We want you to see our podcast and recognize that there is hope, however that looks like to you. I've shared my experience. It's not ideal, and it's not for everybody. Other people do things differently. They take to the AA program really quick, which is good for some people. I go to AA meetings, but I don't work the program. But that's not required to go to AA meetings. Same thing with NA. I go for the group therapy, the camaraderie, and that's where it ends for me. And I'm told all the time, well, that's why you're not succeeding. That's why you keep relapsing. And, I don't buy that. So, I support AA. I go to AA 3 nights a week. But that's not the only way to do it. There's other ways that you can recover. So we're gonna look at that real quick. Let's see here. We're gonna look at smart recovery first. All right. Smart recovery. It's an international community of peer support. They help people recover from addictive and problematic behaviors. Using a self-empowering and evidence-based program. SMART stands for Self-Management Recovery Training. The SMART approach is secular and research-based. So it's not, it's scientific. That's how they look at it. I've checked it out. It's all right. It's also not something that I'm going to jump in on. I'll take what I need from it and move on. I don't judge anybody for how they recover. I don't judge anybody for how they live their life. I'm not going to tell them what to do. I'm going to tell them what I've done. Usually that's what not to do. So it could be helpful, right? So anyway, let's see here. Smart Recovery it's a good program. I hear a lot of people like it because a lot of people have problems with the God thing and in AA, and I believe in God and I'm a spiritual person, but my recovery is my recovery, and it's failed because I've failed myself. I've let my guards down. I haven't addressed the issues that I've addressed in the past year and a half. I've done so much better, to the point where I looked around. I was like, I got to go to Georgia. If I want to live, I see the patterns happening. Finally, I'm gonna pull myself out of the situation, and I'm 452 days clean today because of that. Promise you, because of that. Because I made a good decision based on my history, and you don't need to you don't need to you don't need to go to any program to recover. If you want it bad enough, you'll find it. So let's look at the other one that everybody does is celebrate recovery. like I said, I'm a Christian, and I'm not a fan of this. But I'm not a fan of it just now. I'm gonna keep giving it. I'm gonna keep giving it tries. Um, but I'm not a fan of it at the moment. Like the few meetings I've gone to, um, I don't. I didn't like it. But I don't. I don't damn anybody. Like if celebrate recovery is your thing, do it. A lot of it is there's rehabs involved. They're usually associated with a treatment center. Um, so it's nice to see that people are being given they're being given the message while in treatment and being exposed to God, and there's worship music, and there's a lot of good stuff. It's for me. It's just I've been there. I've gone around the merry-go-round of that. And I was all in on NA once. I had a sponsor. I was gonna do my fourth step, and then I got to a point where I'm like, I don't know this guy, and I don't feel comfortable telling him my deepest, darkest secrets. I'd tell a friend that, but a random person, I don't know. It just doesn't jive with me. And that's just my opinion, and that's okay. I'm allowed to have that opinion. Um, so I tried it once. I'll say I tried it. I'll try everything once. So I did try it, and I was all gung ho for it. I was ready to do my amends. I was ready to do my amends first, and that's out of order. I get that. The point of the 12 steps is to do them in order. They're steps, and to have a spiritual awakening at the end of it, and to give back to the fellow addict. It's a great program. It's a great system. I love it. I just, I worry about people viewing it as cultish. I worry about that for them. I don't want them to see that. I don't want them to have that problem. I don't want anybody to be turned off from recovery ever. Because I want to live today, and people in a similar situation than I was a year and a half ago. If I saw this, I don't know. Would it change me either way? I can't say, but I can say that I've had enough feedback to know that this is working to some extent. I'm not perfect, not even close. That's the point of this. You're coming on my journey with me, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be perfect, and that's the positive feedback that I get, is the fact that it's not perfect. If my recovery was beautiful and so easy and everything went great, nobody's going to want to watch. And I've been told that. My recovery's rough, and I'm recovering, regardless of how you look at it. I put a needle in my arm several times, hundreds of times. I would put a needle into my arm with an unknown substance and inject it into my brain. That doesn't seem like a great idea, does it? Well, I did it for months. So, that's my point. I don't want anybody to think, all right, I'll just keep using the needle. That's okay. Not okay. You're going to die. End of story. That's how it goes these days. You are going to die. Let's see what else. We are going to get to some listener emails. We have a nice. See, we have a couple I'd like to get out here. They're pretty good. It's been rough for people the last couple of weeks. I know it. I've had a few relapses. I've had and I say like it's me. It's just people I know through the program, through the podcast, personal people that I know. People have died. Well, a very close friend of my brother's up in New Jersey just passed away, and these guys are 40 years old and they're dying. So now midlife crises don't look like sports cars and women. They look like overdosing, sniffing a bag of heroin. Well, I sniff cocaine. Let's sniff a little heroin to fall asleep. Well, you're not. You're gonna fall asleep, but you're not gonna wake up. So like, it's bad. I had to put myself. I say I'm in the mountains because I'm on a hill. I had to take myself out of Jersey, stick myself on a mountain, and figure it out. And I'm getting there. I got past a number of milestones that I didn't get past before, and I feel better because of it. Now the real work begins. Putting myself back together, putting my soul back together, acknowledging my faults, and when I'm wrong, promptly admit it. And that's I take a lot from AA. I do. I take a lot from that program. That played a part in saving my life, but it played a part. It played a part with other things, medical things, therapists. I wrote amends at one point. I wrote it to everybody. Nobody got them. I just kept them myself. Doesn't change anything, but it got it out of my mind and onto paper. So, it's everybody's journey is different. So don't feel, oh, I love YooHoo. I just want to add real quick. I didn't find YooHoo until I was 41 years old. Um, and then I found YooHoo. I always thought it was gross. I always thought it was a knockoff version of chocolate milk, and it came in a can or a bottle, and I don't need that shit. Let me tell you something. I love YooHoo. I do. I love it so much. I love putting it in my mouth and then drinking it. YooHoo's awesome. So anybody out there who's thirsty and who wants to be happy and likes chocolate needs to try out YooHoo. I say that. I know everybody's tried it out except for me, and I'm the first one to ever try it out this late in life. So thanks for the YooHoo update, Tim. You're welcome. I just have some extra time to fill these days. So happy Father's Day to everybody. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be motivational, it can be whatever you want it to be. So you can't let these holidays throw you off, and I've had a few already throw me off. So yeah, that's a rough go. It's hard. It is really hard. So just try to for the NA. Just search NA meetings in the App Store. You'll find the NA app a little difficult to use, but it's better than nothing. The Meeting Finder app for AA much much cleaner, much easier to use. A lot of people like to count days as they're going along. I've stopped counting days other than being on clean time. Um, but at the same time, I now I look back and I see that it's important. So there's a app called Days Since. That's what I use. There's a bunch of different apps out there. It just counts time, So if you want to just count some time, you download an app and tell it what time to count. Um, so just visit us on social media, please. I see the stats. I see you're all watching. Here's if it's not too much to ask, could you click on a button that says like or subscribe? I mean, if it's too much to ask, by all means don't be bothered. But personally, I don't know. Just click on it. If you like us, click on it. I like you. I'd click on you on your thing. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. What else do I have? Oh, I have June birthdays. Do I want to do that? I really don't feel like doing June birthdays. So just happy birthday to everybody who had a birthday in June. Um, what else? Let me just get to the emails real quick because we're pushing an hour. Let's see. One is a nice email. She's also on our clean time. I've been talking to her a little bit over the past week. Her name is Lisa. Lisa Milton Welke. She's in our clean time segment. She just had a check-in email. She's 2,192 days clean. That's 6 years. Um, she said, I made it 6 years clean. In that time, I have gone through so much, felt all the tough emotions, and still didn't go back to self-medicating. 6 years since I crushed that glass pipe under my boot. Enough was enough. So I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm slowly starting my own biz, and I've been a firefighter for over a year now. Here's to another 6 years of being clean and smashing goals. And crack pipes, it sounds like. So way to go, Lisa. Thanks for being a part of our show now. I'll keep track of your days. No, actually, multiple years I stop. I don't keep track of them. So, but I'll leave you up on there till I need the space. But yeah, nice new listener who reached out. What a shocker! She reached out and talked to us and didn't just listen to our thing and be like whatever. So that's Lisa Milton Welke. I had a quick question here. Anonymous. I haven't read this question yet. I started drinking again on Tuesday. It's Sunday. I just can't stop. I had been sober for a long time, but my family has been saying some really messed up things to me that have made me relapse. I work really hard on myself to stay sober, and I'm so upset that I've reached this level again. I've seen therapists, I've been going to my doctor, I did detox months ago, and I fell back into this so-called whatever it is. Can someone please, or can somebody on your broadcast please help with some sort of advice? You're welcome. Thank you. All right. So in advance, you're welcome. Um, you started drinking again on Tuesday, right? So it's Sunday. I guess that was yesterday. So that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's 6 days you've been drinking. Um, you say you're so upset that you've reached this level again. I don't know what you did in 6 days, 5 days, whatever it is. Um, but it doesn't mean you hit the reset button. You can stop yourself before you need detox, but you can, you know, you you say you work really hard on yourself to stay sober, and I'm upset that I've reached this level again. You said my family has been saying really messed up things, and that made me relapse. Um, you know, your family didn't make you relapse. They could have been a part of the problem and not part of your solution, and I've experienced that many times. But personally, nobody makes you relapse but yourself. People can cause bad feelings and you can act on them, but you choose to pick up that drink. You choose to pick up that pipe. You choose to put a bill in your nose and snort stuff. You know, be careful about who you blame on why you relapsed. And I'm talking to myself and from myself. You got to be careful with the blame game because it can take accountability off of you and your shoulders, and I'm sorry, it can cause you to relapse because you're not I don't know, taking a responsibility. Sorry, I got these distracted. Um, so anonymous, um, stop drinking, but that sounds easy. If it was easy to stop drinking and just find God and do the 12 steps and be done, everybody would have done it. But most people are in your shoes. And I'm upset that you reached that level again, too. I've seen therapists, I've been going to my doctor, I did detox months ago, and I fell back into this so called whatever it is. Can someone please help me with some sort of advice? You got me today, and that's the advice I give you. Take responsibility for the mistakes you've made and the drinking, own it, and then do something about it. Um, there's easy things you can do. I mean, I don't know your situation, but for most people, going to rehab, going to detox, getting back into recovery, if you can do that, that's the easiest answer. Um, so, anonymous, hang in there. Happy Father's Day to all our fathers out there, um, and to all the people in recovery that are trying to be better fathers. We appreciate your effort and your diligence to try to be a better human being and a better father. Um, so we thank you for your support. Um, and on a day like today, about Father's Day, we're going to say the Lord's Prayer. Let's have a moment of silence for the still sick and suffering inside and outside of this podcast, followed by the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So, thanks for hanging out with Talking Trash. A little bit different format. We'll see what happens going forward, but we're not going anywhere. We're here to help. We got a good fan base. You know, I put you guys first, honestly. I make sure that the addict that's listening to this is getting the right message. So I really appreciate your support. The viewership is so high, I can't believe it. I get nervous recording a recorded broadcast like I'm in front of 1,000 people. And I can pause it and do whatever I want at any time, but I try to make it roll. Like with guests, I keep them backstage. They watch the broadcast, I bring them in. I try to make it like a real show in preparation for a day. Maybe we have a real show. So this show's as real as it's going to get for me at this point in my life. I'm so grateful for everybody who's helped us. Talking Trash, what a terrible name. I didn't. I named it when I was messing around. My mom helped me name it, and it just kind of stuck. So I've done a pretty good job of branding such a harsh, harsh name of a show. Talking Trash. I would have. I think personally, I would have named it Sober Dose. Sober Dose, get it? Overdose, but on sobriety. Sober Dose. So anyway, talking trash it is. We're here. We're not going anywhere. Um, Thank you for everyone that's chipped in and help us do what we do. Help me do what I do. So that's it. Happy Father's Day, everybody, and stay frosty.